We're here on page Hey in the Akdama to Masechta Niddah. On the top left, which you should have, and it's a paragraph that starts Ross. Yeah? We have it? Just trying to fix this button here.
What is it again, Rabbi?
So it's on page Hey.
Hello?
Page Hey.
Oh, hey.
Hey. On the left column.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a paragraph that starts Ross, which is about 6 lines down from the top.
Okay.
Okay. So Rasa Shalosh Re'ios Yom Echad. Right? We need 3 Re'ios to make a woman into a Zava Gedol. Otherwise, she's a Zava Ketana, and she only requires Shomer Yom Kedeged Yom. But here, she saw 3 Re'ios, but unfortunately, they took place on the same day. So they're all incorporated into one big Re'iyah. So she only had 1 day of Zava, and she's a Zava Ketan. She'll need a Shomer Yom Keneged Yom. Benemar, so now we're going to have an equation between Zav and Zava. And in the Parsha of Zav, it says, V'zos tia tum'aso b'zova. V'nichpala milas zovo shlosha pa'amim b'pasuk zeh. Probably pays to open up a chumash, but right now we'll take it on blind faith. I think I do have a chumash. I know I brought one, but it always sort of disappears. Should have a special place in it. The Chumash Vayikra or all of them, thanks to you. The Lamed, and this is going to teach us, so we're trying to find the pasuk in Vayikra Tezva. See if you could find the pasuk at what's the beginning of that chapter. Leviticus 15. And hopefully, you have it? Pasuk Gimel, maybe?
V'zos
Tia, Tum'aso V'zovo.
Or the sorrow as Zovo.
Oh, second time Zovo.
Oh, hectine, the sorrow, Mizovo.
Zovo third. So keep that available. And we have the word Zovo 3 times in the same pasuk. What do we derive from this? L'lamed shebeshalosh re'ios nasizov. Okay, that makes sense. The Torah repeats the word Zovo 3 times to indicate that he had 3 re'ios. V'tola kosev esazov b're'ios esazov b'yavim. In the case of a Zav, the Torah doesn't add the word Yom. Do you look at that pasuk again? See if you find the word Yom. I don't think you're going to find it. No. But in the case of a Zava, it says Yomim. And the word Yomim, right, it says Isha ki azuv zov tama yomim rabin, which should be in that same chapter, but fast forward to verse 25. And it says that she was Zav Dama Yomim Rab. So that Yomim is telling you that although it's the same 3 Re'ios that we saw in the Zav, but it's got to be spread out on 3 different days. It's therefore Tola Kosovus Azav Be'Re'ios. So the status of a Zav is inaugurated by Re'ios, in this case 3 Re'ios, it says Zovo 3 times. Bes Zava, but the status of a Zava as a Zava Gdola is engendered by Yom. And here in the case of Zav, the Torah opens up the pasuk with Zos. And Zos is always a mute. Ein lecha ela kosev bo zav berios sav v'lo zav berios. To tell you that dafka in zav zos tia, meaning this halacha is unique to a zav, and it means that if he has three re'ios, he becomes a zav, even if all three were on the same day. Masha Enkin, in contrast, when it comes to a zova, meaning a zova gedola, we need yomim, yomim rab, ki tizov, ki yizov zov doma, yomim rab. Siruf hari'ios. Okay, we have two shitas. Rabbi Yossi, in Psachim, on Daf Pei Amid Beis, holds mitzas hayom kikulo le'inyan re'iyah shniya u'shlishish shel zava ketana. Aroa dam b'shloshi yom v'tzufim eino nase zava gedola b'kama min ofanim b'shita soshal mitzah yom kikulo b'tchilas laila. Let's skip that for a minute. Base l'shita sasover sha'omer mitzah sayom kikulo b'tchilas hayom harei imposta riyasa ad li achar tchilas yom sheni eino nases zava gedola. So this is a big chiddush. She's saying that even though she had two re'iyos on two consecutive days, it's a brand new ball game. The second re'iyah on the second day starts a new count, and it's not connected to the re'iyah that she had yesterday on the first of the three re'iyos. Why? Because since Mitzvah Sayom Kikulo, on the second day in the morning, she didn't see Dam. It's as if a day passed without seeing Dam. So there's something called Pascha with Tchilas Hayom. Tchilas Hayom itself is considered like Pascha. Pascha meaning she stopped flowing. So whatever she sees after the Pascha of Tchilas Hayom, because we were operating with Mixed Hayom Kikulo, that's already a brand new Re'iyah, and it's not integrated into the first Re'iyah to set up a second Re'iyah. So let's go back. Haroet Dam on the third line of that paragraph. Haroet Dam, Shloshi Yomim Ritzu. She sees three consecutive days of Dam. We're going to now list a bunch of scenarios in which Eina Nase Zava Gedol, even though she saw on three consecutive days. Okay, we did the second one. Now we'll go back to the first one. There are three of them all told. There's something called Mitzvah Hayom Kekulo Balayla. We mentioned it earlier. So the night between day one and day two, the night going into day two, at the beginning of that night, she saw no Dam. So even though she saw on day number two, that's going to be the first Re'iyah. In Rasa Yom Rishon Upaska Riyasa Ad Liachet Tchilas Leil Sheni. Let's say nightfall, Tzeisak Chacham was at 7 p.m. From 7 to 8, she checked herself and there was no Dam. It's Af Shechazra B'Rasa Yom Sheni. The very next morning she saw Dam. And then she saw Dam on Yom Shlishi. Eino Nase Zova Gedola. Sharei liachar tchilas leil sheni also biyada shmiras hayom, because we're holding miksa hayom kikul applies even at night. Wow, this is pretty wild. I'm just going to take a minute to transfer over here for a second. So again, let's just review. So far, we have 2 out of 3 cases in which, despite the fact that she had 3 consecutive re'iyos on 3 consecutive days, she's not as of a gadol. Case number 1 is where at 7 o'clock after her first re'iyah, 7 p.m., in the night following her first re'iyah, we'll call it Sunday night, she didn't see dam until 8 p.m. We're going to apply mixas hayom kikula b'tchilas halayla, and therefore the second re'iyah is considered like a first re'iyah. Case number 2, even if I don't hold mixas hayom kikula applies at night, but let's say on day number 2 at 9 a.m. she checked herself, there was no dam, and the day started at 8, we can already activate the principle of mixas hayom kikula, and if she sees a second re'iyah on day number 2, it's like a first re'iyah. Gimel. L'shitas hasover sha'omrim kain gam b'sof hayom. Wow. Now we have a third sheet that mixas hayom kikula could apply at the end of the day. In Paska Riyasa Kodem Sof Yom Sheni Eina Nase Zava Gedol. Whoa. On day number 2, she had a re'iyah, but she checked herself later on towards the evening, and she was knocking. So now we're going to apply mixas hayom kikula. Let's say she checked herself at 6 p.m. On that hour at the end of day 2, if you calculate it as a kula yoma, as a full day, it's as if she had a shomeres yom keneged yom. She had a full shmira and paska for yom echad. When we call it in Hoisa Shofas Dam Kol Shloshis Hayomim V'lo Paska Riyasa, Harei Hi Zava Gedol. What's the chiddush in the last case? Well, why does he add that sentence? I don't get it. You know what I think he's adding here? He's asking the following question. How can a woman ever become a Zava Gedola? Either she was Posca at the beginning of the night, or she was Posca at the beginning of the day, or she was Posca at the end of the day. And if you hold like that third sheet, then you have 3 possible applications of mixas hayom kikula. And the answer is shofats. She was flowing with dam for 3 days consecutively. She never had an opportunity to be Posca. So there's no mixas hayom kikula at all. That's what I think he said. Now he has a section called Seder Taras Hazov. Zava Gedola, Haba'a Litar Bitumasa, Tzricha Lispar Shivas Yamim Nikiyim, Vitoveles Lachreya. Amtonas, Amtonas Chamisha Yom. So at what point can she begin counting Zayin Nikiyah? in this paragraph, which has many parts to it, we're going to calculate that she could only start Zayin Akiyim 5 days after her Re'iyah. Kosva Rishonim, Sheme'achar ve'apoleta shichva zera, arei soseres b'minyan shiva Akiyim. Okay, we didn't get up to that yet. Lefichach mishaba'a ha'isha litoyer v'lispar shivas Akiyim tzricha lahamtin mikodem sheish onos shlemos. Shalalacha hapoleta shichva zora ad sheish onos shlemos minabia soseres. So an ono is half a day. So now 6 onos passed, then she's okay. But if any time before the 6th ona passed, that's considered like a re'iyas dam. I don't get it. Why are we assuming that she's a poletis? So let me try to take a stab at this, and the iravon mukbal, as they say, limited liability. What I think is going on over here is, you may recall, again, it's probably somewhere in your storages there. But anyway, back on Daf Gimel, we had a paragraph on the left side called Chumras Rabbi Zera. And that Chumras Rabbi Zera was based on the fact that there's one situation in which a single Re'iyas Dam, Kechardo, would require Zayin Akiyim. And that's called a Re'iyas Soseres. Just 1 second. Here she softly. 1 second. Are we talking about a case where one second was in fact she was not poletis. Oh, I see. She was poletis. Okay, I stopped prematurely. Keep going. Shimsha Leil Motzei Shabbos, Bareid Belel Yom Revi. So we have to note it with the time. We have to add a time. So she had a relationship with her husband, let's say at 10 p.m., just throwing out a number. And that's on a Saturday night at 10 p.m. So we go Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. That's 3 full days. And then we arrive at 10 p.m. on Tuesday night. But if, let's say, 9:59 p.m., Adayin hi betoch sheish onos. She's still within the 3-day period until she gets to 10 p.m. on Tuesday night. Yechola liflot v'lista. Now, what does that mean, yechola? I don't know what this word yechola means. And did she have a pleitas or not? Shimsha b'leil motzi Shabbos. Yechola liflot v'lista. Let's go to the next paragraph. Yesh min harishon shekasu shelo nemar din zela b'isha sheshimsha. Samuch li eis sfiros. Achim lo shimsha. Yechola lahafsik b'tarva lispos miyat. Shein lochush bal shetiflo shifaz zora. V'chein Isha sheshimsha yechol lirchotz oso mokom b'mayim chamim ulahaflid hazora v'soferes miyat. Yesh kasu shemikomakom yesh lo lahat. So who are the two opinions here? What footnote do we have? Ayin Vav, Rosh, and Trumas Hadesh. These are what we call Chachmei Ashken. So now let's go back to the word Yechola at the end of paragraph Aleph, the previous paragraph. Yechola lifot, I believe, means Yesh lachush shetiflo or shepolta. We don't know for sure that she was a poletis, but since she had tashmish, we assume that she'll be poletis. And that situation of poletis, which creates a stira, that's for the 6 onos after a re'iyah, or I should say after the yom of re'iyah. When that day comes to an end, we count 6 onos, and that means that the first day of the Zayin Akim is going to be on day 5. I guess we call it Thursday. Does he mention day 5 here? It should be here. Oh, where does it say Yom Chamishi? Oh, Lefichach ad leil Yom Chamishi. Mamtina ad leil Yom Chamishi. So again, she had a Riyah on Sunday. We're going to calculate Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday because of Poletes. Why? Because she had Tashmish on Motzi Shabbos. But just 1 second. She had Tashmish on Motzi Shabbos, Saturday night to Sunday night, Sunday night to Monday night, and Monday night to Tuesday. 1 second. Now I'm confused. That's only 3 days. So just 1 second. Sunday night, Saturday, if she had Tashmish Saturday night, Saturday night, Sunday night to Monday night to Tuesday night. Why don't we count Wednesday as the first? Why don't we count Wednesday as the first day of Zayin Akim? What's wrong with Wednesday? I don't get it. Oh, wait a minute. Because Shabbos is on the nose. No, it's only Sheish Onos. If it's Sheish Onos, then she cannot count Wednesday. Why can't she count Wednesday? Because she was Poletes at 9:59 on Tuesday night. If she's poletis at 5, I'm sorry, I keep saying 5, but I mean at 9:59 on Tuesday night, then what? Then now she wants to start Zayin Akiyim. She can't count Wednesday as Zayin Akiyim. Does that make sense to you? I'm trying to figure out why the first day of Zayin Akiyim is on Thursday. And I think what happens is that if she was poletis 6 onos after the Tashmish, then that moment of Plita Chichva Zera makes the day into a Yom Sasur as opposed to a Yom Naki. And that day is Wednesday because it's Tuesday night at 9:59. That's what I think is going on. And then we have machlokas here between the Rosh and the Trumas Hadeshet as to whether or not this entire halach of waiting only applies conditionally if she had tashmish. Okay, so now we look on page Vav. Given Kosva poskim she'af hasover she'isha shloshim she'yesh la lahamtin, which is the Trumas Hadeshet. B'kamakom enad dvarim amurim ela be'isha hamuteres l'bayla. Oh, very good. In other words, the Trumas Hadeshet is machmir, and he says that since, despite the fact that she didn't have tashmish, we still apply this 5-day waiting halach requirement. But that's because she was re'uyah l'tashmish. Now I'm going to talk about a case of a woman that's ain't a re'uyah l'tashmish because she's asur l'bayla. Now, why is she asur l'bayla? Let's just think. He doesn't tell you. Why is she asur l'bayla? I mean, that's the tumah. I don't know if there's any issue for a zav to have beer. Unless you know something I don't know. Again, she might be ill-advised because she'll acquire a tumah, but I don't think that's a problem. Again, I'm going to say something that's crazy. So, and the recording is working here, so this is not good. I should stop the recording. But maybe there's a neder. Maybe she took a neder, hanas tashmish alai or something. Well, actually, she can't take such a neder, but he can take such a neder. Oh, I have an idea. You're going to laugh at this one. It's Tisha B'Av or Yom Kippur. How's that? Try that one on for some. I want to take one more stab at it, then we'll go on. Maybe she's a Niddah, right? And let's say she goes from the last day of Niddah, which is day 7, into Yemei Ziva, which is day 8. So that's going to be the first of Hayud Aleph Yom Bein Niddah L'Niddah. That's Yemei Ziva. So now on day 8, she has a Re'iyah, which makes her into a Zava Ketana. So she's a Shomeres Yom. does she have to wait 5 days in order to start counting Zayin Nikiyah? And the answer is no, because she was a Niddah. And she never got out of her status as a Niddah. The only question is, did she become a Zova Gedola? And for that, everything depends upon, being mafsik and getting a Yom Naki. So the Trumas Hadeshinot, she can't start counting a Yom Naki until day 5, but not in this case because she's a Niddah. That's not bad. I think that's more intelligent. Hefsei Tara, af din hazava boli toyer, yedin Niddah, utzricha lahafsik b'tara, kodem leminyan shivas nikiyah. You remember, you may recall that after a woman finishes 7 days of Niddah, she can't go to mikveh until she makes this hefsek para to guarantee with this internal examination that she has stopped flowing. So she's no longer a Niddah, she needs tefillah. The same thing is going to apply for a Zava to start counting Zayin Nikiyim. She can only start counting Zayin Nikiyim if and when she makes a hefsek tara. The only thing that I'm worried about is, what about a Zava Ketana? Does the same halacha apply to a Zava Ketana? I don't see anything here in the text about that, Steve. Did I miss it? I don't know. So I'm going to write myself a note here. It says here, let's say maybe there's something in the footnote. I don't see it now in the footnote. You see, you can't start counting Zayin Nikiyim until you finish with your 3-day Ziva. That I understand. I'm just wondering if the same halacha should apply to a Yom Safur in the case of a Shomeres Yom and a Zava Ketana. I would think logically it should apply, but I'm not sure why he omitted it and why he didn't mention that. Okay, then. Let me just turn this off.